I am happy to be rid of this thing today after just one day of having it in my possession for a few key reasons. In order of relevance, having it around makes me want to do dumb urban mountain bikey things and also own one myself. If one thing goes wrong, I can't really afford that. 2, it's really big. It takes up way too much space in the shed and it makes it hard to move around. It's bigger than my motorbike, so moving it around sucks. But that doesn't mean I don't still kind of want one. This fender is not providing the protection that I was hoping it would. 3, plain and simple, I want to ride this thing. It's sad to be deprived of your new machine so close to new bike day. Now, mountain bikes are great and all, and say what you will, we're all entitled to our own opinions, but for this kind of climate and the situation that we're all in as a society, can't help but feel like something so underbiked and tubeless with the difficulty of a fixed gear hub just makes all these mundane, easy, kind of underwhelming trails so much more fun than what any sort of high-tech great mountain bike could do. Certainly they have their place, but for now, I will take my wide bar Tracklocross bike over anything that is more capable to keep my mind sane. Okay, this is the same spot that I got a flat on when we first built this thing. This is set up tubeless now, so I'm going to go down this and we're going to come out of it completely and utterly unscathed because there's no tubes to rip holes in. Unscathed and no derailleur hanger to bend. This, oh yeah, kind of hurt, kind of scary, really fun. As a matter of fact, I'm not particularly interested in leaving, but I am getting hungry. Oh, that's deep. Oh, that's deep. So much more fun when you don't have to worry about pinch flats. So yes, to answer a short question comment, will going tubeless make me happy? Yes, yes it will. So do that. Okay, the rest of this vlog will be dedicated in its entirety to one subject and one subject alone. Inspired completely and utterly by a comment thread that came up on the video where this bike was first introduced. Well, I was gonna show the comment, but it looks like it has since been deleted and removed. But I'm gonna continue on with the subject anyway. If I was working in a shop, or if someone approached me to try and do this build for them, to kind of like replicate it or come up with something very similar for them to ride, I probably wouldn't do it. And like the obvious reason might be like, well, it doesn't have brakes and it's a fixed gear and you need to be like experienced and blah, blah, blah. It's not safe. But no, that wouldn't be it. I have full trust in anyone who would maybe want to get into riding a bike like this, that they already know what the risks would be. You know, no problem. That's not the issue. What my issue would be for putting together something like this would be like the association of the simplicity of it being matched together with like cheap and easy to do. And no doubt you could put something together cheaper and simpler than what I have here. Of course, I went out of my way to rebuild an entire rear wheel. I put a completely different fork on, a carbon fork with a through axle, the ability to put a front disc on. You know, we've got brand name stem, brand name handlebar, a decent enough FSA Gossamer crank, and a set of specialized tracer tires set up tubeless so that it's as easygoing and maintenance-free as it can be when you're out on like big rock stuff that we were just on. And yes, it is wildly simple. It is the simplest terms of a bike: a chain set, a cog, nothing else. Just the parts that bolt on, no cables, no brakes. You don't have to do any tuning. So with all that out of the way, why? Why wouldn't I want to do this for someone else? Obviously, there's not much to it. And it's the fact that it is just kind of time-consuming to make all of this work. Think about that introduction video. Think about what it was that went into this, and then let me enlighten you about the other things that you didn't know that happened. I had a different set of cranks in mind for this. A square taper bottom bracket and crankset to be exact. But it hit the chainstay because the chainstay is wider than most track bikes. Boom, I'm out a crankset that isn't going to work. Thankfully, I had these ones here to work in their place. If that happened to you at a shop, that would be detrimental to the budget of your bike. When it comes to the headset and fork, the headset race had to come off of this fork. The new headset race had to go on with the headset being pressed in. Wildly time-consuming, something that a bike shop would charge you probably upwards of an hour's worth of labor to do. And then because I was picky, of course I wanted to have the matching wheels. And as you saw, I pulled apart a geared wheel and put in that 11-speed hub's place a Soma Fabrications track hub, and setting it all up tubeless and spending about 2 days worth of my time ensuring that there's air in there, that the sealant is doing its job, and that everything is sitting in the bead correctly. Obviously now it's working, but that was 2 days of my effort to make sure that everything was working the way it should. And even when I brought this bike home today, there was stuff that needed to be adjusted. This, for a bike that has no shifters and no brakes, still needed a fair bit of planning, effort, trying, and tinkering, and riding. Time consuming. Something that if I was doing it for a customer, you'd have to charge for all that time. That gets really, really expensive for a bike that originally was supposed to be very simple and quick to put together. There'd be a level of guilt of charging the appropriate amount of time that it takes to just end up with such a simple, amazing, fantastic end product. Of course, if you don't want to go down the route of like the stuff that I did and you want to just use very off-the-shelf parts that you know is going to work, well, that's great. That would be really easy, but why would you bring it to a bike shop or to someone to put it together for you when it is very simple and it is very straightforward to put together when you could learn to do it yourself? And I think that comment that I can't find now that ended in some way of the person at the bike shop that the person went to go see had said, can't be done, not possible, your project idea can't be made to work. That's a bit of a cop-out for not wanting to take something on because it's going to be time-consuming when you're in an hourly charged job. And that's fair, but wording it that way is not correct. Anything can be done. It just depends on how much effort and how much time you want to put into it. And when you're charging people by the hour for bike maintenance and bike mechanics, a week's worth of shop charges for a, I don't know, $500 bike kind of becomes pretty not possible. Okay, obviously that was the long way home just to basically say, learn how to work on your bike. You're really going to thank yourself for it. And if you're looking for tutorials on how to do most of these things, check the Park Tools YouTube channel. They will teach you how to do anything that you want to know.